these mushrooms must not be working. They're supposed to rewire my brain. So why did this anxiety come back? And it came back in a pretty bad way. Has this 5 years been a total waste? So what do you do if you're in an area where you just can't microdose magic mushrooms? Maybe you have no access to them, maybe they're not legal, or there might be another reason. What do you do to stay calm, anxiety-free? Well, I happen to be in Japan right now and I cannot microdose magic mushrooms here. So in this little mini-series, Mushrooms from Japan, part of Microdose U, I'm going to be sharing with you exactly what I do every single day to remain anxiety-free, calm, and more. I'm so glad you're here with me. So here I am. I told you about the anxiety, the pretty bad anxiety I had here in Japan last week. And it got me thinking, like, these mushrooms must not be working. They're supposed to rewire my brain. So why did this anxiety come back? And it came back in a pretty bad way. Has this 5 years been a total waste? Have I been giving you misinformation and guiding you in the wrong way? And getting all these other people that follow me to start using psilocybin and magic mushrooms and they don't really rewire the brain and they don't work? Well, I thought about this a lot, and no, it's absolutely not true. And let me share with you why I've discovered that they absolutely have been working better than I thought. Because, okay, let me take you back about 5 years. Five years plus, but before I started microdosing magic mushrooms. For several years before that, almost every day was filled with anxiety for some reason. Now, some days were worse than others, but I always had anxiety. I felt like I was always on edge, always in fight or flight mode, sympathetic mode of the autonomic nervous system. I was always revved up. And no matter what I tried to do, I couldn't get that feeling to go away. Talk therapy, SSRIs, all the craziness, all the stuff, that didn't really work. And the only thing that really worked was psilocybin, magic mushrooms. And they totally wiped out my anxiety. I didn't just have like a little bit, I had no anxiety. Now, fast forward. As you know, I'm in Japan now. I can't use magic mushrooms, LSD, any of the things that I use, the medicine that I use to keep this going, keep the anxiety in check. And as I told you last week, I had a tough few days for sure. I'll be transparent. I'll admit this. I want to share with you the truth. I don't want to just sugarcoat everything and say, oh, everything's fantastic now. Oh, my life is just 100% great. No, I mean, it's really good. Don't get me wrong. My life is really good. But I did have quite a bit of disturbing anxiety last week, which got me thinking, does this really work? Is my brain truly rewired? But here's what happened. I was in a situation, and I've talked to you about this. I talked to you a little bit about this on the last video, and I've done some short videos about this as well, that it was kind of like the perfect storm. I was in some social situations where, it was loud and long and people were speaking Japanese, which is certainly not my first language, and it adds some anxiety to this. And I've had some knee pain, jet lag, poor sleep. What else? There's a lot of salt in the food here, so that probably doesn't help things. And then last week we had this craziness with the Patreon group. We had some people that I found were not really suited for the group. That's all it was. Bottom line, plain and simple, they weren't suited. So there was some craziness that went on for a few days, but now they're not in the group anymore, and Patreon has gotten back to normal, back much better. Patreon is not for every single person. I mean, it's for most people that really care and want to change their lives, but there's sometimes some people that come in there that just don't fit with the group. And so this all added to my anxiety. Last week was terrible. And since then, Patreon's gotten better. I've moved to a different location where I'm not really involved in nearly as many social situations as I was last week. I'm doing a lot of things on my own now. My wife is traveling to a different part of Japan, so I'm just kind of doing my own thing. I'm going to meals by myself, going to the hot spring by myself, just doing a lot of things by myself, and getting some massages and meditating and relaxing and just doing the things that I do. And since I've been doing this, it took a few days. It was not instantaneous. My anxiety has gone down to 0 again. I've got none. I feel great. I feel really good. So putting this all together, what happened? Well, there were some things that took place. And remember, through all of this, I'm not microdosing. I don't have the luxury of taking some magic mushroom capsules and feeling much better if I have anxiety. So there were outside stimuli that absolutely added to some anxiety last week. I've identified it. There's no question about it. But when I moved to a different location, took away all of those stimuli that were causing anxiety, guess what? Because of the microdosing that I've been doing for 5 years, I'm back to my normal baseline now. Now, had I not been microdosing, remember what I told you. 5 years ago and before, almost every day was filled with anxiety. I mean, there were days that I was just lying on the sofa and didn't even know what I could do that day. Every day was unpredictable. I couldn't really make plans because I didn't know how I'd be feeling. It was terrible. But because the psilocybin has worked and has rewired my brain for the better, after these outside stimuli were removed. Now, I'll back up for a second, because had I had psilocybin here when all this craziness was going on, I would have taken some psilocybin, and it probably would have mitigated all the craziness. But I didn't have it, so I had the craziness. But once all that was gone, I'm back to baseline now. I feel good. I would argue that because the psilocybin has worked, I'm feeling 100% right now. Anxiety free. I feel like, oh my God, I feel like I could do anything today. I can do anything I want. No pressure, no anxiety, no nothing. I already went to the hot spring once today. I'm going to have a meal pretty soon. I'm back to 0 level anxiety without microdosing. Remember, this is important, without microdosing, because it shows that my brain has been at least in some way rewired, because in the past I'd still be anxious because no rewiring. Psilocybin equals rewiring. Remove the outside stimuli, move to a different location, back to baseline, feeling fantastic. So I wanted to share that with you because psilocybin absolutely works. And even though I was doubting it last week, I even said in my episode last week, I think, what was it titled? I may have lied to you. But no, I've thought about it a lot since. I have not lied to you. It absolutely works. Yes. And I'll share one more thing in just a second.
So I literally just had one of our Patreon members send an audio recording in to me. And I know I talk about Patreon a lot because it's just an incredible community that we have here at Microdose U. But better than me talking about it is what Holly just sent me via audio. I'm going to play it for you because I think you really need to hear this. So let me go ahead and I'll listen along right with you.
I just wanted to say that I love Microdose U. My name's Holly. I've been a member of Patreon now for 6-7+ months, somewhere around there. And I've been microdosing myself for about 2.5, almost 3 years. And I really like Dr. Dave's style. And on a whim, I thought, you know what? It's only $12.50 a month. So why don't I just give this a whirl and see what it has in store? Really, I didn't have any expectations going into the Patreon group, but after being in the group for really a short period of time, it's really transformed everything for me. It's helped so much in my life and just making connections with others. We do have the live meetings and just getting to know others who may be in a similar boat, and a lot of us are. It has been very transforming. When I had joined, I think subconsciously, I was looking looking for some sort of community or at least a group of folks to chat about microdosing and psilocybin and life and all of that. And that was one of the other missing pieces in my life. Now, I had mentioned to a few others, friends, maybe family about microdosing, but there was only a certain conversations we could have around that. And I really wasn't able to get into depth with friends and family about that. But with this group, it's another story, which is great. So we have a wonderful community, so much information, and even more than I had expected or even had hoped for. So I encourage you to look into it further. You never know what you don't know until you know, and just checking it out and seeing what it has to offer.
Holly, I want to thank you so much for your kind words. I'm truly humbled by what you said about our Patreon community there. And I'm going to recommend to anybody right now, listening or watching, now's your time. Now is truly the time to change your life. Don't wait another minute. The link is always in the show notes, and the link is always on my website, microdoseu.com. That's microdose with the letter U on the end of it, microdoseu.com, or right here in the show notes. Please join us, because your life really will change. And that's not from me, that's from Holly.
And I want to share one more really important thing that I got from all of this. Super important thing that I want to share with you before I leave you today is, and this was proven by what's going on here in Japan with me, if you are in some type of a situation where what you're doing in your life is causing you anxiety. Again, I've talked to you about this before, but it's so important I want to talk to you about it again. A relationship, a job, where you live, politics. It could be anything. It doesn't matter how well you microdose. You have to do the work alongside of the microdosing and get yourself out of the situation. I mean, I recently talked to someone who is not in a good marriage, does not love his work, does it because they need the money, but doesn't love the work. That's a formula for disaster. It doesn't matter how well you microdose or not microdose. It doesn't matter. So you're going to start having other vices that you add into your life to try to compensate for your horrible life. And again, I'm not making fun of anybody with a bad life. I've been there. I've made adjustments in my life because they weren't working for me. So I'm not making fun of this. I'm just stating a fact. If you've got a tough life, if things are not the way you want them, you're going to have anxiety and depression unless you fix that. It doesn't matter how much you microdose. And this is super, super important. I want you to always remember this. And you might say, well, for now I can't. No, that's not true. You can. You can make a change. I don't care what you say. You can make a change. But I need the money. Well, yeah, you need, of course, but you can change your job. There's no job that's written in stone that said you have to do this for the rest of your life. You can do anything you want. I truly believe that. Look, I'm 71 years old now. I've lived a long life so far. I hope I have many, many, many more years. I feel great. But I am 71. I've seen a lot. I've witnessed a lot in my life and in other people's lives. So I'm not going to accept, but I can't change because, no, I won't accept it. I'm sorry. I just won't accept that. So that's end of discussion. You've got to change something if you're in that situation. I'm not saying you're in that situation, but if you are, you've got to change something. And I'm looking at you right in the camera because it might be you. It might not be, but it might be you. Okay, and I truly hope you could visit us and hang with us on Patreon because it's where everything is happening. And again, it's 100% positivity. It's a great place to hang out. We have so many people that are helping other people there, and we talk about things that we can't talk about, here in the public podcast. That's just the way it is. Okay, brand new episode every Wednesday. I'm going to continue the series, Mushrooms from Japan, because I'm learning so much. When you take the mushrooms away for a while, you really learn more. It's great. And Dr. Denise, my colleague and friend, has an episode that comes out here on the same channel every Sunday. We started her episodes, they were supposed to be for women only, but now they've blossomed. She's a doctor of psychology, and she talks about things that anyone would be interested in, not just women anymore. So it's great stuff. Okay, remember one more thing. You are valuable. You matter a lot to me and to everyone else here at Microdose U. See you next time.